The thing is, in trading is, as my mentor always said, it's the hardest way to make easy money. So it takes a lot of time before. You have to put in the work, you have to sacrifice. I spent at least already 10,000 hours in front of the chart. I backtested so many data, so many pairs. I know I put in the work and it has to come that way sometime soon. So right now, when the payouts hit, I'm proud of myself, for what I did, of every sacrifice I put in, every hour that I went into the chart instead of partying and stuff. And it makes me just like excited for the future, and it makes me very proud.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Fiverr's YouTube channel for yet another interview. This time we're going to interview Mattia from Switzerland, or well, from Italy, but he lives in Switzerland. He is a high-stakes trader, have scaled the account to 150K, started with 100K, had multiple payouts. It's going to be very interesting to hear his trading journey and how he's trading. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi. Thanks. I'm very good. Thank you very much for the invitation. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to do this interview. Yeah.
I'm super excited to hear what, how you're trading and how you managed to get this account to 100K. So thank you for doing this interview. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been trading? How long have you been trading with the Fivers? And a little bit about your trading journey.
I'm 25 years old right now. I started trading at 18 years, so about 7 years ago, 8 years ago, a little bit before. The first touching point I had with trading was back then with a network marketing company. And yeah, since then, I've been following this route. I had different mentors, different strategies that I learned, and that was my path. And right now, the past few years, I learned a lot from ICT. I was studying a lot of his strategies and implementing that into my own, because I learned so much things from different people. And right now I try to figure out my own system, and that's what I'm trading right now and what made me profitable. So that's also what I'm going to show later on, maybe. And yeah, that's the way I trade. I simplified it to my trading style, to my lifestyle, what fits me the best. And yeah,
I must say, starting with when you're 18, that's super impressive. I did not, like, when I was 18, I definitely did not care about trading. So it's definitely very cool to see someone starting that young. I mean, if you're starting that young, you definitely have a bright future ahead of you. You know what? Let's get right into the maybe the dashboard. If you have access to your dashboard within the Fiverr Hub, we can take a look at that as well.
Yes. So I will share my screen. Let me know if you can see it.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yes. So that's right now, that's my 150K account. If you go back to the dashboard, what everyone thinks maybe is like, oh, he's profitable, he will take one challenge and pass every challenge. That's not the way it is, because I joined Fiverr's like last year in July, maybe. I had some challenges before. And if you see my dashboard, I also failed a lot of them. So that's not like the first challenge I bought and I passed it right away. So that was the current one I bought. That was started with 100K and I got scaled up to 125. And right now that's my account on 150K. So that's the dashboard. As you can see, I just made a payout request yesterday. That's because, so I don't have any active trades right now. I'm waiting on the payout.
You have some huge wins right there. You have 3K after each other. That's some big winners right there.
Yes.
You're making some good money on these accounts, man. So tell me, how did it feel with that when that first payout hit? When you're actually making money from this,
Yeah, so it hits different, because the thing is, in trading is, as my mentor always said, it's the hardest way to make easy money. So it takes a lot of time before. You have to put in the work, you have to sacrifice, to put in hours and hours in front of the chart. I spent at least already 10,000 hours in front of the chart. I backtested so many data, so many pairs, and it takes a lot of time before you get what you see. Like, you earn the fruits of what you see before. And now it just makes me proud. It's like, it's not a feeling that I think it's something like coming from nowhere. It's like, I know I put in the work and it has to come that way sometime soon. So right now, when the payouts hit, I'm proud of myself for what I did, of every sacrifice I put in, every hour that I went into the chart instead of partying and stuff. And it makes me just like excited for the future, and it makes me very proud. Also for all my family and everyone I can put on the train with me, and like, yeah, go the way together. So it makes me very proud. And yeah, I wish for every trader that he feels what I felt when the payouts hit. So it's
Yeah, I
a
love it, man.
great.
Can really feel that excitement from you, and you get this figure out. So it's really happy for you, and I see here in your account here that you've had a losing streak, but you can see that you were disciplined. The losers seem to be equal, kind of like equal amounts of losses, and then you had that reversal. So from what I see right now, we only had 12 trades, but it looks very very good here. And if you're going to be continuing like this, then sky's the limit. I mean,
Yes.
sometime in the future, you can get funded with 4 million from us here at the Fivers. So yeah, it's you continue on this path, and it's going to be very very interesting to see where you're going to end up in the near term future. Let's take a look at actually, let's see. You have okay, so profit factor 1.5, win rate is 41. Can we go and look at the the dashboard of the account before it got scaled?
Yeah, sure. Which one do you want to have a look into it?
Well, let's
The
take a look at the
125?
125, that one, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, this looks wow, this is really good. It's 57% win rate and 3.9 profit factor, 14 trades. Right, so you were able to scale this in 14 trades. That's good. That's quite impressive.
Yeah.
And the average trade size is 23 lots. So you're risking quite a lot on these trades.
I have to say I'm trading mainly indices, so the contract size is like big, so I have or small, so I have to use bigger lots. So it's equal to if I trade like GBP US dollar or something with a smaller lot. So that's the reason why, because yeah, if you see here the
Right, yeah.
indices, I trade like 50 lot, 30 lot, and it's about 1%. So it depends.
Right,
That's
of
the
course, of
reason why
course.
it's that. Oh yeah.
But this looks really, really good. That is a good looking equity curve right there. Very,
Thank
very
you.
good looking. Let's get into trading view, because I'm sure people now want to know, like, okay, how, everyone's watching this interview and they think like, how can we get to that stage? How is this guy trading? You mentioned ICT. Are you trading purely ICT concepts, or have you modified them in any way?
Yeah, so one main concept I'm trading is the OTE concept. So I think I seen someone trading it also at the Fivers you do live streams with, right? So that's mainly what I trade, but I modified it like to my way for entries, for times, and stuff like that. So, and I made like a trading plan around that. So how I trade, which pairs. My main pairs are like EU, GU, and gold and DAX. That's what I trade in indices. So you see here a lot of trades in my chart. That's all the trades I take. So you see everywhere is the fib. I trade a lot with the fib and in the session. So I mainly focus on London session and on the opening. And if I get some trades also in New York session. So that's for me the trading range. But what I focus on is like only 1 or 2 hours at the chart at the opening. I stay 1 hour, maybe 1.5 at the chart. That's it. If I get an entry, cool. If I don't, I skip the session, go to the next one. So I keep it pretty simple. And yeah, as you see, it's like the OTE concept. If I go too deep into it, it would take like hours to explain how it works.
Sorry to interrupt you, but you're saying the
Yeah.
OTE, but you actually don't have the fib numbers that is originally the OTE, right? Because I see that you're using the 0.618, and actually that's the exact same fib area that I'm using. You mentioned the live trading room, and that's a lot of the things. Is that the OTE? Is that called the OTE?
The OTE entry he takes in his strategies would be the 70.5. That's this one, the white line here. That's what I started with, but I adjusted it to the pairs. So if I go, for example, EU-GU, that's where I take the 70.5 because it hits more and I get better entries. When I go to the DAX, there I studied on data before. On all my back tests, the level that hits the most, it's the 0.5 or the 61.8. So the data tells me which levels I take for the pair. So for me, I know if I go on EU or GU, I take the 70.5. If I go on DAX, mainly I take the 0.5 because it's already enough. I don't go for the highest risk reward. Sometimes I get really high risk reward trades. If you see, like, if you go back, for example, I had one really big trade. Where was it? This one. This one here, it reacted of a daily fair value gap. That's the white box in here. And I wanted to retrace the OT for the longs out of the higher time frame fair value gap. So that's why what I did, I drew the fib from here to here into New York's kill zone, took the 0.5 and then held it to the -1. You see that's a 1 to 6 risk reward. I think I took this trade also on fivers, I'm not sure, but that's one trade that got me like way ahead on the scaling. So sometimes it happens I get really good risk to reward. Even this one here was a 1 to 6. So I had two 1 to 6 back-to-back trades.
That I must say this is really interesting because this is you know, if you look at my trading history, my trading view, you would probably see if I were, you know, be trading the DAX, this would be the exact same trade that I would be taking. I love that it's like it's reacting to the high time frame level, having a reaction, and it's retracing back down to like a low time frame level, and that's where you enter. This is really good stuff. Really good stuff. I like that.
So I just try to keep it simple. I don't want to overcomplicate it. And the main thing, what I focus on is like, when do I trade and when are the times I don't trade? Because if I don't see clear structure, like I see here, for example, a clear reaction, or I have a higher time frame that tells me, okay, I'm bullish, I'm bearish, I won't take a trade. So sometimes I take trades, of course, I take losses. That's normal. You see, I have a 40% win rate sometimes, or 50. It's not that I take high win rates, but when I get trades, often they are like pretty good risk reward. So I work with that and it works really well. Over time, you see, I grow, I take losses, but I take also wins, and the wins just are bigger than the losses. And that's what it's all about.
How much are you? And you know, I definitely agree with you here that it's not about the win rates, it's about the, you know, the average risk to reward, and like letting those trade run and have you know, a few small losers, maybe a few small winners, but then eventually have big winners to kind of make you that, you know, to push you up on that equity curve. I have a few questions on like, how much are you? What's your risk management like? Are you risking always the same percentage amount, or how does that work?
Yeah, mainly I take always, for example, I trade mainly the DAX right now. I always take the same lot size with the same stop. So it's about 1%. So it's easier for me just to manage it. So I know there I go 40 lots always with like 30 points or 35 points, about that on stop. So it's always the same. That also comes from the data I collected in the back testing, and that works perfectly fine for me. So I take mainly one trade in London. Sometimes I give a second chance if I see, okay, that was just a wick or the stop was too small. Maybe I give it a second chance, but then I don't take a trade in New York. So I try to limit it to like 2 trades for the pair. Sometimes I take EU or GU as well, but there I'm trying to limit it to really A+ setups. And lately I haven't gotten so many, so it was quite tough. But when I get some, why not?
Yeah. So you're trading EU, GU, and DAX mainly.
Yes, sometimes also gold, but gold is like hate and love. So sometimes I love gold, sometimes I just hate gold. So
yeah,
every trader knows that.
Yeah, gold is like that's definitely have a love-hate relationship with gold as well. It's like it has those wicks, like you get a really good technical setup and it's like it takes you out and then immediately just goes straight to TP. Definitely. So I've stopped trading gold for that reason. But yeah, when there's a good setup, definitely I like trading gold. But I maybe we can, you know, take a closer look at one specific setup and kind of walk us through what made you enter. Did you have any like confirmation, or like how did you enter one specific trade? Kind of walk us through that.
Yeah, of course. I would say we take this one. This is a perfect example of like a beautiful trade I wanted to see. Maybe see if I can. So where was it? I just try to hide everything that's not necessary so we can have a cleaner look here. Okay. So that's where the trade happened. So what we have here is like we had this bullish momentum. So we were here all time like bullish, and here we had these equal highs here. And what I wanted on a daily time frame is to take these out because we were bullish overall, and we had this fair value gap inside here. So I saw this retracement, and if we have a look from the last low to here, that was about premium, like the 50%, the equilibrium to go higher. So when it touched inside and touched the 50 level from the last move, that's where I wanted to see it bullish. So what I made was go in lower time frame and see if we get a reaction. If we get to the lower time frame here, you see, I think we stay in the 15 minutes, it's easier. We had this move into London inside of the fair value gap, and like we had here already like 10 o'clock, and that's where I don't take trades anymore. So I left it just when we're watching it, and into New York, we had this move above, so this break of structure here, and that's where I just pulled my fib and set my limit order to the 50 because the confirmation was the move inside fair value gap. And we had here the break of structure and the 50 level of the fib. That's when I take my trades. So it's easy and simple. And this one was a perfect example here with the break. That's why I took the trade. Also here you see about 30 points stop loss, and I wanted a huge move. Normal overall profit would have been here or above these highs, but it's way too much, too long to hold that. So I took my profits already here and re-entered then on the next days. So
that looks really good. I like that. So when it comes to, that looks perfect. When it comes to take profit here, you take profit at the -1. Is that something based on statistics? Is that something you've tested? So why that level?
So if I take trades only inside the sessions, I always take the -61.8. That's the most I use. But if I see on the higher time frame, it's a higher time frame reaction. It's like the -1 is more the swing target. So the overall TP I want to see. This one here was a higher time frame reaction. So that's why the -1.
Nice. Okay, so that make perfect sense. If you have a high time frame level, you can expect a high time frame move. When it comes to your trade management, is there anything you do in terms of moving stop losses, or do you exit earlier?
So I exit early when I'm like 2-3 pips away and it's like 8-9 p.m. at the evening and I want to go to sleep, for example. I just close the trade, go to sleep. But sometimes my theory is like the set and forget. Sometimes I take break even when I hit the -27 and I don't like the structure it did to reach that level. It happens pretty rare, but mainly I just set it and forget it and either TP or stop loss. So that's a bit my philosophy, and it works pretty well because also in the back testing, I saw when I take stops to the break even, I lose a lot of profits. So from the data I got, it's like easier to handle it because I know on the long run I take more profits than I lose.
Yeah, I think that set and forget is definitely something that could work for a lot of people because they micromanage and they spend a lot of time trying to manage that trade in lower time frames, and usually you end up getting stopped out and then price moves to your TP anyway. Okay, this is all very good. So we talked about risk management. We showed us kind of like what your entry trigger was. So do you trade any specific time frames, or are you looking at many different time frames?
I look to top down, for example. I have a look at higher time frame. Where are we right now? Do I see like obvious fair value gaps, for example, or liquidity spots? Where's the market likely heading to? And then based on that, the main time frame I spend on is like the 15-minute. So I take the 15-minute, draw my fibs, see where I want to get my entry and my targets, and that's it. So that's the main, like daily 4-hour, sometimes, the hour chart and 15 minutes. That's it, what I use.
Awesome. And how long have you been trading like this?
I think I switched to this specific like half a year ago, or maybe 3/4 of a year ago. That's when I had it simplified like that. Yeah.
Right. No, I think this is definitely something that a lot of people can definitely find a lot of value in this. So we've done a lot about, is there anything else you want to add here, or anything else you want to show?
No, I think that's the perfect example to see how simple a strategy can be to
Yeah,
work.
awesome. So before we leave here, is there anything else you want to leave the viewers with? Let's say you have someone who's looking to get a challenge account or become funded. What do you think is the most important thing that you need to focus on when you're starting out?
If I would meet myself a few years ago, I would tell myself just stop that strategy hopping, because I did that too. I know everyone is doing that, is going into a strategy, putting in the work, and then he sees, oh, he's doing more profit, so I take a look at his strategy. That's not the way it works. So if you go with something, stick to it until you find your edge, because if something works for me, it doesn't mean it works for you the same way. So that's what I had to learn. And so I would stick to a plan. And then the second thing that helped me a lot is to collect data. So back test a lot and forward test also. Be at the market every time. I collected a lot of data also on demo or challenges. What I did is spend a lot of money on challenges, get data on them, and fail them. So that was my mistake. Don't do that. Go on demo first. When you pass some demo accounts, you can still go on the challenge. So don't rush it. And then have a plan you're following. So the plan is the A and the Z. So if you don't have the plan, it doesn't work.
Yeah, and
when you're funded, it's simple. Don't go for the high percentage, go for the smaller percentage, but go for more capital. That's the way I do it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's that's the way to do it. You can get, focus on getting scaling that account up, so that small percentage win will make you a lot of money. And if there's any place where people, if they can follow you, do you have any social media or anything like that?
Sure, I do. Just mainly on Instagram. That's where I share also a lot of trading stuff sometimes.
All right,
Sure.
Thank you for doing this interview, man. It was
Thanks.
very, very interesting, and I hope to perhaps do another interview in the future when you've scaled this account as well. Thank you for joining, and
Sure.
thanks everyone for watching the interview.
Hi guys, so thank you very much for watching the video. Now make sure you like and subscribe, and most of all, go into the YouTube and check our other content that we provide here at the Fivers. We'll see you in the next one.